Hey everyone, just wanted to make this quick video because I was unable to find a video in my particular situation. So I have a 2016 Ford F-150 XLT model, and recently my heater stopped working. There's plenty of videos out there regarding the actuators replacement, and they have particularly been regarding the one that is behind this vent, either that one or the one that was under the dash or under the floorboard by the gas pedal. Those are really the only two I've been able to find. If you're not too familiar, I don't know if it's just Ford or if the F-150s, but there's three actuators. There's one on the driver's side near the gas pedal underneath the floorboard. There's one behind this vent into the dash a lot further, and then there's a third one over here on the passenger side under the floorboard. The one behind this one, from what I understand, is particular to models that have the dual zone feature for their heater and AC. I do not, as you can see, and that is when I found out that that is the wrong actuator to go after. I unfortunately went through the process of going into the dash, looking, and realized the actuator's not there. So there was a little bit of confusion for myself as far as whether it's blend door actuator or a mode door actuator that I was looking for. Of course, the parts are different, so I just wanted to make sure I was fixing the right thing. So I did have a mechanic look at it, and they did determine that it was whichever one this is, the mode door, blend door, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly which one it is, but it is the one over here on the passenger side. They figured this out because you can actually see the part underneath the floorboard. I've already taken it out, sorry, and I will go over that, but you can actually see it fits right into here. It's this piece right here, and it fits like this right up there. So you can see it from here. I figured it out because when I was switching it from heat to cool, you wouldn't really see anything, but if you tapped it, you would see something engage and see some movement. Not necessarily from this piece, but you would see some movement, and then you'd get heat. So I knew this was the problem. And real quick, just a little backstory on what exactly I was experiencing was I wasn't getting heat at all. Not in the floorboard, the face vents, the defroster, or anything. I know all the other videos have talked about not getting heat on a particular side, and that's where the dual zone comes into play, and that's when the actuator behind that vent is the one that it's the culprit. So in my situation, I don't have the dual zone like I mentioned, so this was the one that I needed to fix, because this is the one that changes the amount of heat that gets pushed through the vents to change the temperature of the air. So hopefully that all makes sense. Regarding the whole situation with the mechanic, the reason I'm doing this by myself or on my own, they did determine the problem. Yes, they helped me with that. However, they quoted me $1,000 to replace this piece. They apparently said that they needed to completely remove the dash to be able to access this part, but as you'll find out here shortly, that is not true. Yes, it is a little tight, but you do not need to remove the dash, and in all honesty, I don't really see how removing the dash could even help you, because the screws are going up, and so removing whatever is above it, I don't see how that can really help you. But anyways, all I've removed so far is just this trim piece, which just pulls right off. There's a few tabs along the trim piece, so that came off pretty easily, and then this carpet just pulls right back, so that definitely gives you a decent amount of access. There's a total of 2 screws. There's one in the front and one towards the back. The one in the back is a little tricky to get to, but I was able to do it. And then it's also attached to this cable here, which has these prongs. You pull back the red tab to disengage that, and then you just push down on the black part right there and pull it out. So that's the only way that this was attached in there. This white piece in here, this I guess cam or whatever you want to call it, it does dislodge. It comes down, so be careful when you're pulling that out. And then it's also, there's another black piece underneath that that can also pull out, so just make sure you don't lose those pieces. When you're replacing the new part, I'm told that you want to try to get this set to the middle setting for the vents. Unfortunately, I don't really understand how to determine whether it's in the middle, but from what I've messed with, it seems like it'll only go one way, or it'll only fit in there one way. So I'm just gonna shoot from the waist and hope for the best. So as far as removing those two screws, so here's the two screws, and what I was able to do is I just got a T20 star bit, and I used a small 1/4-inch wrench. If you have a socket style wrench, that would be a lot easier, but I was still able to just fit this right in there and unscrew those two screws using this. So I do have like a right angle screw attachment. I tried to use that, but it's a little too tight for that. So this is what worked for me. It really, to be honest with you, removing this part took about 10 to 15 minutes, if that. So I would highly encourage somebody to try to fix this themselves rather than pay the $1,000. One more thing, once I did remove this, when you look at the part itself, nothing looks like it's broken. The only thing I can notice is that, I don't know if you can hear it, but something does rattle in there. When the new part, nothing rattles in there. So assuming something's going on in there, and that's part's no good. So hopefully this is gonna fix the problem. For the part number itself, so we got the FL3Z19E616 Bravo. From what I understand, the part for the other actuator on the driver's side is the 19E616 Alpha. So they are two different parts. They are not interchangeable. So be sure to figure out which one is the problem. If your problem is that the vents are not switching from face to floor to defrost, then I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe the actuator on the driver's side is the problem. In my situation, it's the heat that's not switching over. It's not going from AC to heat when I change the temperature. So that's the passenger side. Okay, so just got the new part in. Not too sure how well everybody can see, but let's see. I guess that's better. So there's one screw right there to the left that you can see, and then don't think I can get a good angle on it, but there's another screw back there. Those are two only screws. I was able to get them out and back in with really not that much trouble. I mean, yes, like I said, it's a little tight, but this little configuration, I was able to do it just fine. $1,000, I don't think so. Please don't pay that much money to have a part like this replaced. Unless you're unable to do this yourself, then I can understand, and your heat is that important to you. Fortunately enough, we live in Arizona, so we probably won't even really be using this very much anymore, now that the weather's starting to warm up a little bit. But I'm just glad I was able to get this figured out and didn't waste $1,000 on this, and I hope this helps somebody in the future. Any questions, comments, feel free to leave them. I just got to get this trim back on. I guess I'll check to make sure it works real quick and be back with that. Okay, so got it going. Currently in the AC mode. and I'm switching it to the heat now, and you'll see that white cam move. So that's the part that I was talking about earlier that was not moving when I was switching it, and then when I would tap this guy, it would engage and you would see that white part move. So that's how I knew that was the culprit. So good way to rule it out. But yeah, looks to be working just fine. So awesome news, we're excited. Anyways, feel free to leave any questions, comments, and I hope this helps somebody in the future. You guys take care.